This video is not financial advice. Welcome to tracking my Bitcoin portfolio, day 40. My Bitcoin is worth $28,713.37, which is down $374.35 since yesterday. But I also added 345,685 Satoshis to my portfolio. Okay, now I'm going to go into these comments. Okay, this person said you should warn that lady about small balance cold wallets. Dangerous if prices slash demand go higher and TX fees go up. Don't want to get locked out because you can't cover TX fees. Yeah, that's true. You don't want to be sending like small amounts to your hardware wallets because there's a possibility that that could create a dust transaction when like if you were to try and sell. Well, when it costs more to like the transaction fee costs more than the actual amount, and then it's basically there's no reason to spend it. So if you're sending like small amounts to your hardware wallet, that's not ideal, because potentially you could create that scenario, and it costs a lot to consolidate all the transactions together. So it's better to send large transactions to your hardware wallet. Like I usually send like $1,000, sometimes more, just like one transaction to my hardware wallet, so that if I ever want to buy something, I don't have to consolidate like 50 different transactions. So that's something to think about. Like when you have a hardware wallet, like your Bitcoin isn't just stored on the hardware wallet. Your Bitcoin is on the blockchain. Your hardware wallet stores your private keys to be able to access, to be able to spend your Bitcoin. Okay, so it's not like storing gold. Like it's not like you have this safe and you store your gold. It's a little bit more complex, and so you have to kind of do your own research and try and do your best in trying to understand how to do it. But yeah, like this person said, you don't want to be sending tiny transactions like a $2 to your hardware wallet like 50 times, because it creates a bunch of different UTXOs, and then if you want to go and buy something, it has to consolidate all of it, but it could cause problems if the fees go up and then it costs more. The fee costs more than the actual amount, so it creates problems. So thank you for pointing this out. It's definitely something to think about. I usually send like large transactions to my hardware wallet, so it doesn't have to consolidate like 50 different UTXOs. Okay, on to the second comment. This person said, try to send you some sats with wallet of Satoshi, but after scanning your QR code, it says that's not a Lightning Network invoice. Yeah, so the wallet that I set up, it only accepts like Bolt 111, which is not the like standard one. I don't think Wallet of Satoshi is compatible with that specific one. So that's my bad. I should have double checked it, but I just quickly kind of downloaded like the first Lightning wallet I saw. I made sure that the QR code was reusable, but it's using Bolt 111, and from my understanding, that's not like the most common one. It's supposed to be something else. So I've looked into it. I watched like a video on what one to use, and so now the QR code that I have in this video should work. Sorry for kind of messing that up. That's my mistake. I'm still kind of learning how like learning everything about Lightning. That's my first time using the Lightning network, so I'm just trying to learn. So that's my bad. I should have double checked it though, but I didn't. So that's my bad. But now the QR code should work, and I'll make sure to test it out to make sure it works. But thank you for trying to donate. I appreciate you trying to donate. And that's my bad. But I appreciate you trying to donate. And thank you for your comment. This person said, all that potential lost tracking a Ponzi scheme. Well, I disagree with you. And this person said, just write down the number 0. It will save you years of work. So I guess he's saying that Bitcoin is worth $0. I would disagree and say that that's only possible in an apocalyptic event. But in that specific scenario, the only things that have value in an apocalyptic event are things that directly relate to your survival. So that's if you would be right. If we're in an apocalyptic event, then you would be right. I would say that the value is 0, but we're not. So I would have to disagree with you. But thank you guys. Thank you for your comments. This person said, do you remember the day or period of time when the idea of BTC clicked? What or who influenced you to start investing so heavily into BTC? I'm a dollar cost average guy myself and at a similar level as you are, amount of BTC. Do you think you'll get to a whole coin? I'm not convinced that I can get to one BTC, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, so I got into Bitcoin like over a year ago. I really started like to just watch every podcast there was about Bitcoin, and I started listening to Michael Saylor. And what I believe what he said actually does make a lot of sense. Like you're trying to invest in the lowest state in a global monetary network that cannot be debased by the government. It's something that is simple. It's so simple that everyone can use it. So there's a huge market, right? Like instead of it being like a complex thing that most people can't understand, it's very easy to understand. You're just trying to store your economic energy into the future and it not to be debased by the government. You're being completely self-sovereign with your money. And I think money separated from state makes a lot of sense. I think governments are corrupt. I'm not saying that, like abolish government. I'm not an anarchist. I'm not saying that we should get rid of government, but I believe in free markets. I believe that government should probably only be the rule of law, allowing a complex society to be created from that, because you can't create a complex society in an anarchist society, right? Think of like the Purge. You can't create a complex society, but I don't like when government is overreaching. Like today, we live in a world where the government is overreaching. They have their hands in everything, but I believe it should probably just be the rule of law, and all other aspects of society should be be competition, other businesses competing with each other. Because if you have competition, it allows the prices to get driven down to the lowest amount because the businesses are competing with each other. But if you have a government monopoly, it creates control, and it creates kind of restrictions on you, because you can't be buying things at the correct price because there's no competition. Like the government is allowing certain companies to live by giving them like free money basically. And so I believe that the government should be the rule of law, and everything else should just be companies competing with each other, businesses competing with each other to provide the best possible product and service. I believe that competition is good in a free market, and I think the government should have their hands out of the free market because it just causes problems. Like who is the government to decide how much something is worth, or how much something should be, or how much money this specific company should get? Like who are they to decide? Like the free market is the best decider of who gets what and what is value. It's literally a free market. Like that is the ultimate way you can value something. And so that's just my opinion. I really believe in free markets. So yeah, I hope you got some value in that, but I'll continue reading what you said. What or who influenced you to start investing into Bitcoin? Yeah, I would say Michael Saylor. I think what he said makes a lot of sense. Like how he talks about Bitcoin. Like I think Bitcoin is a natural evolution. Like if you were to go and run this simulation over and over again, you would get cryptography. Now maybe the name of Bitcoin would be something else. Maybe Bitcoin would have a max supply of 50 million. Like because you have to understand the butterfly effect. Like you're always like I could go and I could throw this pen here and that caused you guys to all move your eyes. So like basically there's an infinite number of possibilities that can happen, but I believe in all of those infinite possibilities. I believe in all of them. The natural evolution would be cryptography as money. A better example would be the wheel. Like imagine if you were to go back to when the wheel was invented and you created different scenarios, would the wheel still be invented in those different simulations? Of course it would, because it's a natural progression of technology. Like obviously the wheel would get invented no matter if someone walks a certain way or wears a top hat one day or doesn't. It's gonna get invented in all of those scenarios. So I believe that the natural evolution of money is cryptography, and I believe that Bitcoin is in first place. Okay, let's see what else he said. I'm a dollar cost average guy myself, and I have a similar amount as you. Do you think you'll get to one whole coin? Do I think I'll get to one whole coin? To be honest, probably. I have a very long-term view. I have a very kind of good understanding of Bitcoin, and I have a strong conviction. So I plan on just continuing to invest probably for the rest of my life. So unless Bitcoin starts to rally, if Bitcoin really starts to rally, maybe I won't. Which I guess, that could happen, but I would say I'm probably going to get to a whole coin, which is quite a significant feet because like there's only 21 million. So if the world population, let's say, gets to like 10 billion people, okay, and I own an entire coin, and then there's also coins that have been lost, and then there's also companies that own a lot of Bitcoin, and then there's also individuals that own fractions of Bitcoin. Like there's only so many people that can own a Bitcoin. It's true scarcity. And so like if the population is like a billion people and I own a Bitcoin, that I think that puts me in like the 0.01% or something like that, like something crazy. So that would be definitely pretty interesting. Probably the 0.1%, not 0.0, probably the 0.1%, I would say. I think. Okay, but and then see what else he said. I'm not convinced that I can get to one. Yeah, man, just keep on stacking. I mean, it's not really supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be difficult, but yeah, but Bitcoin's not the end goal. It's what you're trying to do with your life, like what you're trying to accomplish in your life. Bitcoin is just a tool to allow you to make your life more efficient, allow you to store buying power into the future. So obviously the end goal isn't Bitcoin. So I wouldn't hyper obsess over Bitcoin, but it's definitely something to really think about and consider. But yeah, hopefully you get to one Bitcoin. I wish you the best of luck. Okay, and you also said love this concept, great video, gonna be interesting to watch over a full year and beyond. I lost a but I lost a bunch on garbage coins too. Went crypto, silver, and gold now onto BTC. Yeah, I would say to anyone watching my video, stay away from crypto. I would say that Bitcoin is a network effect. All the cryptocurrencies are competing against Bitcoin. Bitcoin is like 3 times larger than the entire like crypto market cap. So imagine Bitcoin as like a giant circle, and then the rest of the crypto market cap is like here. So when people say crypto, it's kind of dumb because Bitcoin is so much larger than crypto, but people lump in Bitcoin into crypto as if it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. Bitcoin's a network effect. Network effects are winner take all, and the people and the coins that are competing against the network effect, they're losing. Like imagine watching a horse race and betting on a horse that's in last place. That's like it's like the same thing. Like it's competing against this giant circle, and the bigger it becomes, the more valuable it becomes, the stronger it becomes, which reinforces the network effect. So I would say I'm only Bitcoin. I lost a bunch of money on crypto back when I was younger, and I didn't understand Bitcoin. But I'm glad that happened to me because it put me on a path to like really try and understand what money was. And then you also talk about silver and gold. I'm not anti silver or gold. I think they're a physical alternative. I would just say that Bitcoin has more potential. That's just my opinion, because it's digital and it's in a digital world, and it's a lot more useful to be able to send energy across the world in a couple of seconds, if you're using Lightning, than it is to have gold. But I'm not anti gold. I'm not anti silver. I think other things have value as well, but I believe that Bitcoin is like a global monetary network that will become very useful in a technologically advanced world. So that's just my opinion. If you disagree with that, you can comment it down below. Thank you for your comment, though. I really do appreciate that, and I wish you the best of luck. This person said, "What's your view on the long-term future of fiat? Do you think it has a timeline?" So I've been thinking about fiat currency for a while now, and I have a gut feeling that something bad is going to happen to fiat currency. It might not be in the way that you expect, a lot of people will look at the like national debts of a country, and like for example the United States. I think the United States is in like $38 trillion in debt. A lot of people will look at the debt and be like, like it's getting out of control, which it is, but I don't know if that is actually going to cause the currency to collapse. It might be deflation from technology. So this is where it starts to get complex. I don't have the answers. I'm just someone who's trying to investigate farther, and try and just understand the best that I can. But basically, technology is deflationary. Well, let me say this first. The natural state of the economy is deflationary. We're finding ways to make things better, faster, for cheaper, mostly because of technology. I could give you an example. Imagine you have a 3D printer, okay, that's at your house, and you're able to 3D print a pair of shoes. Let's say this is like in the future. This is a more advanced 3D printer. You can 3D print a pair of shoes and they work fine. They feel like normal shoes. Okay. So now instead of there being a factory where people need to build the factory, there needs to be workers at the factory. They need to gather the materials, they need to build the product, they need to ship the product, okay, to like stores. So think of all of the amount of jobs that took, that provided other people in order to create that product. But now, if you have a 3D printer, which is technology, and you're able to make the same product a lot cheaper and faster, you've just taken away all those jobs. So and technology works its way into every industry. That's why the largest companies are tech companies. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that technology is going to take away a lot of people's jobs. So and make products and services cheaper. So if technology is going to take away people's jobs and make everything cheaper, then basically that causes deflation. Money is now becoming more valuable because you're able to buy more for cheaper. Okay, so now that everything is becoming cheaper and people are losing their jobs, okay, how does that affect the national debt? Because the national debt needs to be inflationary. The debts cannot become more valuable. If the debt becomes more valuable, that's not a sustainable thing. Like the only reason the system works as it does right now is because the governments can kick the can farther down the road, debase the currency. Once they debase the currency, it devalues the debt. But what happens when the debt becomes more valuable? Okay, well, they have to escape the deflation. So the only way for governments to escape the deflation from technology is to debase the currency and try and outrun that deflation. But then the question is, well, what happens in that scenario? Like how deflationary is technology actually going to be? How much does the government have to actually debase the currency to outrun the deflation? And in that scenario, could that cause hyperinflation? Okay, I don't have the answers. I'm not sure, but it's something to think about. Like I'm not totally sure, but it's good to just share my opinion, even if I'm wrong. Even if I'm wrong, I'm just trying to find the answer because I'm not even sure. So with that being said, I believe technology like AI and robotics taking away everyone's jobs could cause significant problems and could cause mass protests, which could cause the government to debase the currency to try and incentivize, people to try and get their jobs back if they try and. I'm not sure. Like I'm honestly not sure, but I have a gut feeling that fiat currencies are going to collapse. And I'm not sure when that is, and I'm not exactly sure how, but I believe that it has something to do with deflation from technology, AI and robotics to be exact, taking away everyone's jobs. And then the governments would have to, I think the governments have to outrun the deflation by debasing the currency, which might cause hyperinflation. Which then, if that happens, then basically the currency is worthless. So people who hold the currency lose, and the people who hold bonds, I think they would also lose. So those would be the losers in that scenario. But yeah, to answer your question, I think I have a gut feeling that something bad is going to happen to fiat currencies. I have a gut feeling. and I would say within my lifetime. Like I'm not 100% sure, but I would say like within my lifetime, like there's going to be a huge change. Like if you think about it, like 100 years ago was 1926. Imagine how much the world has changed since 1926. I know that it may seem that like fiat currencies have been around for a long time, but if we're talking about 100 years from now, like there's a chance that fiat currencies, like something terrible could happen. Like there is a chance, and I believe that it's probably likely because technology is gonna AI is gonna take everyone's jobs. So, but I'm not 100% sure. It's just me talking. Like I'm not 100% sure. But thank you for your comment. You know, if you guys want to add to whatever I'm saying, or if you think I'm wrong, you can comment it down below. And then you said, thanks for answering. Interesting to see how you approach these big questions. Cool to hear your take on it. This is in reference to him asking me about like religion and like my thoughts on like kind of the meaning of life. And so I just explained that I do think there is meaning, but I can't really explain why. But I don't really spend too much brain power on that stuff because I deem it as unsolvable problems, and so I don't really try and focus too much on unsolvable problems. But thank you for your comment. This person said, I would suggest putting a regular Bitcoin address, not Lightning Network. Lightning Network QR allows you on one send. Um, so like I said, that was my mistake. I put the wrong QR code in my previous videos, but Lightning is actually more efficient if you do it properly. It's a lot cheaper and it's instant. So I all I need to do is just put the correct one and it should work. But thank you guys for your comments. This person said, I like the channel. What do you recommend for cold storage? So I've set up a few different hardware wallets. I've set up a couple Blockstream Jades. I've set up a Ledger Nano S, and I've set up a Coldcard Q. So yeah, the research that I have done, the Coldcard Q is the best one. It's not as user friendly. It's, you know, you have to know what you're doing, and it's expensive too. It's like I think it's like 350 like Canadian dollars. Like it's expensive. But from the research that I have done and what the kind of the consensus of the Bitcoin community, the Coldcard Q is like the best one. Um, but and what do I use? I use like multiple, but the Coldcard Q is the best one. But if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, I would say the Blockstream Jade. It's Bitcoin only. The code is open source, and so those are kind of the two features that you want. That's kind of what's the Bitcoin community has agreed upon. Like you want it to be Bitcoin only, so there's less attack vectors. Like for example, if you have a hardware wallet that has you're able to store other cryptocurrencies, well, there's more complexity. If there's more complexity, there's more attack vectors. Now, I'm not saying that you're gonna lose your money if you have a ledger or something. I'm just simply stating a fact that there's potentially more attack vectors because there's more complexity, right? Because there's different, you could have different blockchains, so it creates just more complexity. So you want it to be Bitcoin only. So Blockstream, so Coldcard Q is Bitcoin only, obviously, and the Coldcard Q is Bitcoin only, and then you also want the code to be open source. This is because there's good and bad things. The reason why you want the code to be open source is because you want there to be eyes on the code to make sure that there's no backdoors. If the code is closed source and only the people who run the company can see the code, then you're trusting them that there's no backdoors. No, I'm not like incredibly technical. I can't explain to you how there could be a backdoor or how this could happen, but that's just the research that I've done. You want the code to be open source, and I'm pretty sure the code is open source for Blockstream Jade and Coldcard Q. I think there might be. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. But yeah, the Coldcard Q kind of the best one. But the Blockstream Jade is, I think, is also good. But you to clarify my position, I'm pretty sure the CEO of Blockstream Jade is Adam Back, and he met with Jeffrey Epstein back in like 2014 or something. So I just want to be like open and clear with you guys that like the CEO of Blockstream Jade met with Jeffrey Epstein. Now I still think that the device is a good device and it's secure, but I just want to let you guys know. I don't want to make a recommendation and then you buy it and then be like, wait a minute, this guy met with Jeffrey Epstein. So I just want to let you guys know that the CEO of Blockstream, I think he's the CEO, is Adam Back, and he met with Jeffrey Epstein. So I just want to let you guys know that. But it's still a good device though. But I just wanted to be open and honest and let you guys know about that. Okay, so then you said this guy said, oh, and thank you for your comments. I appreciate your guys' comments. This person said, what is your main goal with BTC? Would you sell this or use it as collateral to fund your life in the future? P.S. Your idea of indirectly monetizing your cold storage BTC is brilliant. Thank you. I appreciate that. So what is my main goal? Yeah, my main goal is to obviously stack as much Bitcoin as possible and monetize this channel and create a successful business and be able to live like a meaningful life. Like it's not just about money, it's about like living like a meaningful life. Like I think that this aligns with my philosophy. I believe in freedom. I believe in being self-sovereign, and I think this really aligns with kind of who I am as an individual. And I think that this could allow me to provide like a value to other people and live a meaningful life. But in terms of like money, I want to create a successful business, monetize this YouTube channel, and then once I make money from this channel, probably try and reinvest that into Bitcoin. And then once I own more Bitcoin, that would attract more people to watch my videos. So if more people watch the videos, then I make more money. And then if I make more money, I invest more into Bitcoin. So it's like a circular effect. So I think that's really interesting. And it's something that I just look forward to waking up every day and just kind of testing that idea out. So it kind of provides meaning and it makes things more interesting because I kind of like problems. I like thinking, and I think this is kind of just something that kind of just keeps my mind busy and is interesting. And then you also said, would you sell this or use it as collateral to fund your life in the future? Okay, so let me think about this. So so here's my philosophy. Like if you go and you work at a job, okay, and you get paid, you pay taxes on your paycheck. So I believe that all of the money that you make at your job, you should be able to invest tax-free. You shouldn't have to pay capital gains taxes. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to break the law. That's not what I'm saying. I just believe that all of the money that I put into Bitcoin, I don't believe I should have to pay taxes on any of it. So I don't plan on selling it anytime soon where I am now because I would have to pay taxes. But in the future, I believe that there are going to be places where you don't have to pay taxes on your Bitcoin. For example, like more touristy places where they want tourists to visit or people to move there, they'll have better laws around Bitcoin because Bitcoin is going to become more mainstream in my opinion. So in the future, I plan on moving to a different location probably and just using my Bitcoin as money and not paying taxes on it. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that you work at a job, you pay taxes, you have to invest the money to escape inflation, which is caused by government debasement. So you invest that money into a specific asset, but that asset is still being represented by fiat currency that's being debased by the government. So it goes up, let's say 20%, and you sell, but the capital gains taxes aren't inflation adjusted capital gains taxes. So once you understand that, it's basically just a scam. I believe that it's absolutely ridiculous that you have to go and pay taxes, capital gains taxes, but it's not inflation adjusted. It's being represented by a currency that's being debased by the government, and then they expect you to go and pay taxes on money that you've already worked for and paid taxes, providing other people with value at your job. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So it's just ridiculous. So I plan on just investing all my money into Bitcoin, and then trying to move to a different place where the laws are actually fair. I'm not saying I'm trying to take advantage of the law. I'm just trying to move somewhere where it's fair. It's fair for me because it's just ridiculous. Like you have to, it's just ridiculous. So yeah, it's just my opinion. But yeah, so I plan on trying to move somewhere else that's more in favor of Bitcoin and has better laws around Bitcoin, and then using the Bitcoin as money. Like if I want to go and buy food, if I want to go buy shelter, buy clothing, use the Bitcoin as money. Now I know that Bitcoin might not be accepted like everywhere as much as fiat currency. There's nothing wrong with selling your Bitcoin for fiat currency to go and buy something that you need. Okay, I am very pro using your Bitcoin for whatever you want to use it for in your life. A lot of people will say like, never sell it for fiat currency. But if you need to buy a specific thing, in a moment in time, there's nothing wrong with selling your Bitcoin for fiat currency to buy that specific thing. Yes, there are transaction fees, but I'm just talking about more in like a general sense. Like in a specific scenario, there's nothing wrong with using your Bitcoin to buy something. But you have to make sure that you have to watch out for the laws where you are, because in certain countries that would be considered capital gains taxes. So you have to know the laws too. So yeah, but my plan is just to use Bitcoin to use it as money, and use it as a tool to fund my life. And then you also said your idea of indirectly monetizing your cold storage BTC is brilliant. Yeah, I think it's a good idea because basically whenever you try and monetize something, you're usually putting it at risk. Like if I were to go and take out a loan, I'm using the Bitcoin as collateral, so that I'm putting the Bitcoin at risk. And so I don't like that. I don't like taking on more risk than I have to. So it just makes sense to just like, how do I monetize this without putting it at risk? I think that I love that idea. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think that this idea is a very unique idea. So yeah, thank you for your comment. I appreciate that. And, hope everything goes well, for you. And then this person said, inflation really is just expansion of the money supply. So I would agree with this sentence, but you have to remember that the definition of inflation is like prices going up. So technically, if there's like a shortage of something and the prices rise, that's inflation. The price is going up, that's inflation. But I would argue that once the problem is solved, causing the shortage, that the price would regulate kind of back down. So I believe that the vast majority of inflation is from currency debasement. I would agree with you, but the reason why I said that in that video is because people will comment down below and be like, well, don't you know that the definition of inflation is prices rising? So yes, I know that, but whenever I'm talking about inflation, I'm talking about the main purpose of inflation, which is currency debasement. So that's why I talked about that, because people will comment silly things and like ask me if I know what the definition of inflation is. Like, yes, I know what the definition of inflation is, but I'm talking about the vast majority of why we have inflation is from currency debasement. So that's why I kind of brought that up. But yeah, I would agree with you. It's just people kind of, they comment down silly comments. So that's why I say things differently sometimes. But thank you for your comment. I appreciate that. When did you start your stack? I started it over a year ago. So to be honest, I'm probably still down, but I plan on just continuing to just stack as much as I can. And I'm like, I'm going to hold my Bitcoin for so long. Like I have such a long-term view. So I think that I'm going to be right, but if I'm wrong, then I'll have this entire channel for everyone to see. But I did start, like, the first time I bought Bitcoin was when I was like 16, but that was to go and buy another cryptocurrency, and then I lost all my money. So it's taken me some time to build up my understanding and build up my conviction. But now I've built it up to a point where I'm buying Bitcoin and I'm holding it for the rest of my life. So let's see if I'm right, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Okay, this person said Bitcoin only, no garbage coins, stay on track, get to 1 Bitcoin. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, that'd be really cool to get to, because then I would be a whole coiner. I would literally be a whole coiner. So that would be pretty sick. That I think I would deserve it, to be honest. Like I feel like I would also not only would it be cool, but I feel like I would genuinely deserve it too. Okay, but thank you for a comment. I appreciate that. This person said, I like the channel. What do you recommend for cold storage? Like I said earlier, the Coldcard Q is kind of like the best one. It's not as user friendly. So you have to kind of like learn how to use it. But the Blockstream Jade is also good in my opinion. It's also good to kind of learn like other devices too. Like I've set up, like a Ledger. A Ledger's not really that great of a device, but like it's good to kind of learn how to set up like different devices and stuff. So yeah, the Coldcard Q is like the best one, but in my opinion, I would say a Blockstream Jade is also good. And I've set up multiple of them. It's very user friendly. I would say it's also a good device. And then this person responded, Coldcard. And then this person said, what's the code? That's for my, if you want to donate some sats, there should be a code in this video. So yeah, thank you guys for your comments. If you ever disagree with anything I say, you can comment it down below and I'll try and answer it as best as I can in a video. If you want to add to whatever I'm saying, just comment it down below. Also, if I ever miss any of your comments, sometimes YouTube doesn't show all of the comments for some reason. For example, right here, Forrest Hoddle, he said, your Lightning QR isn't working. It failed to find a route. I would recommend creating a Coinos wallet and putting a QR code for a LN URL. It will be the Coinos address. So yeah, I listened to what you said, Forrest. I actually watched your video. So I set up the Coinos and I made sure to do it properly. So now it should work. But thank you for being Bitcoin tech support and helping me out. I appreciate that because it's my first time using the Lightning, so I'm not like super used to it. But I appreciate you for commenting. But for some reason, your comment didn't show up over here. But thank you for your comment, Forrest. I appreciate that. Now I'm gonna show you how much money I made from my chess YouTube channel on May 11th, $2.56. So I plan on to just keep on making chess videos and trying to make more money and invest that into Bitcoin. But making money on YouTube is so difficult. But I never give up. I just like never give up. So I'll just keep on going. And then so I have this question for you guys. Who benefits if fiat currency hyperinflates? So I know that this may seem like an easy question at first, like who benefits if fiat currency hyperinflates? A lot of you are probably thinking of, like specific assets. Like obviously if you hold assets, then you're going to benefit because now your asset is going to go up when priced in that fiat currency. Now that's not a stupid thing to think of, but I want you to remember that if a fiat currency hyperinflates, okay, the fiat currency has no value. So yes, your asset is going up in fiat currency. It's going up in value, but nothing is actually changing, right? Like the fiat currency is just hyperinflating. Your asset is just staying, it hasn't changed. Okay, so are you benefiting in that situation? Well, not really. I mean, it could be worse if you had all your money in the fiat currency, but I wouldn't say that you are benefiting. You're simply nothing is actually changing. But then you have to ask yourself, okay, who is benefiting if fiat currencies hyperinflate? Okay, so the answer is people who are in debt, people that are like taking out loans. Like let's say you sign a contract and you take out a $20,000 loan in this currency before it hyperinflates, and then the currency hyperinflates. Well, now since the currency is abundant and you've signed a contract, like they can't just kind of weasel their way out of the contract most of the time. It would be a lot easier for you to pay off your debt, right? But you have to think about this more realistically. Like in a situation like this, like let's talk about like a mortgage. Let's say you have a mortgage, you just bought a new house. And then the currency hyperinflates. That seems like theoretically that's a good situation because the currency is now worth nothing. Your what you have to pay back is measured in that currency. So it would be pretty easy for you to get that abundant currency and give it to the bank and basically get your house for free. But the reality is that most likely, if a situation like that were to happen, government would probably step in and do something that would affect you negatively. Like they would probably like take your assets or something and like give it to the bank. So you have to remember that theoretically like you would benefit, but if this were to actually happen in real life, it's hard to say what the government is going to do, or it's hard to say what the losers are going to do, especially if the losers are very large corporations or large banks. Like you have to remember that the game is kind of rigged for the people who are in power. So if let's just say if something were to happen that benefited the poor people, it doesn't really matter. I would guess that there would be some type of law or some type of policy that would just just take from the poor and give to the rich in a realistic scenario. But if we're talking about like theoretically, yeah, the people who are in debt would benefit because the debt is basically worth nothing and it would be very easy for you to pay off the debt. So it's something to just think about. Like I like to kind of think about fiat currency because I don't think in our society people think about this enough. Like they just never think about it, but it's extremely important to think about it. Like school should be teaching you this. School should be teaching you exactly how money works. Like everything about it, and it's not. It's not, and it blows my mind every day. But now I'm gonna go into what Gemini said. I told it to answer back in one sentence. Debtors and holders of tangible assets like real estate or commodities are the primary beneficiaries of hyperinflation. So, like I said earlier, are they? Are they actually benefiting, or is the currency just worth nothing and nothing has changed? So I would say that is a little bit I would say that's a little bit wrong because it doesn't matter. The currency's hyperinflate. Like you're not gonna be like, yes, my house is worth $100 billion and the currency's worth nothing. Yes. But yeah, whatever. But as the real value of their debt is effectively wiped out while the nominal prices of their physical holdings rise to reflect the currency's collapse. So yeah, that's right there is correct. I would say when their debt is effectively wiped out. Not in terms of fiat currency, like the debt is still there. It's just that the fiat currency is worth nothing. So that's why it's wiped out. So yeah, it's an interesting thing to think about. Now I'm going to go into the monetization for this channel. So this is my ROM investing. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours within 365 days. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe so I can monetize this channel. Once I monetize this channel, I'm basically indirectly monetizing my Bitcoin portfolio. And so I plan on trying to improve these videos as best as I can and just put this idea to the test and also try and learn as much as I can. Like I don't have all the answers, but I'm someone who likes to learn as much as I can and read all your comments, think things through. And I think this is just a great way to do that and provide meaning to other people and myself. And yeah, so I don't really have anything else to say for today though. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.